Hi, and welcome to another episode of Anniversary Edition. Today, we are going to be talking about Clerks, which celebrates its 25th anniversary this year. As always, we are going to spoil the film, so go away and watch it first, and then come back and have a little listen to the podcast. So I'm Sophie, and I am here today with Adam.
Hello, how's it going?
And Tom.
Hello.
Hey. So this is a 1994 American independent black and white comedy written and directed by Kevin Smith. So I've written a little blurb. It's short. So we follow a day in the lives of Dante and Randall, two friends and convenience store clerks who have a particularly strange day.
Yeah, that sums it up, I think.
Right.
I mean, Randall's not a convenience store. What happened there?
I have no
He's not
idea.
A convenience store clerk.
No, he's a store clerk.
He works at a video store. Something Tom and I know very much about.
Yes.
I'm related to Randall very much in this film.
So when did you guys first see this film? Adam, how about you?
When did I first see Clerks? As soon as I was old enough to see Clerks, I watched Clerks. Clerks is when you're in that sort of, you're a teenager and you're super interested in film, you watch Clerks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there a world where you don't watch Clerks?
I think...
In my world. I think.
Yeah, I think...
It's a cultural movement.
But I think
film.
it's quite specific to maybe...
Trashy Gen Xers.
Maybe. But I think maybe sort of film students or like you say, people who tend to be like more into film than your average person.
Yeah.
I think.
I probably saw it when I was 15, and maybe from then I was maybe too young to watch Clerks.
I mean, I first saw this a few days ago, so I hadn't watched this before, and I actually hadn't even heard of it. Sorry.
It does, kind of doesn't surprise me a lot, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people might know who Kevin Smith is.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I think you have seen one of his other films.
I've seen Dogma. Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see why people wouldn't necessarily see Clerks, because it is this tiny independent movie that, like I said, is very specific to people who really love movies.
So did you watch this for the first time quite a while ago, Tom?
Yeah, I watched it when I was 18.
Okay.
So I saw it, I was at uni and doing like film and media and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And one of the guys I was hanging out with was just like, have you seen Clerks? I was like, no. So we watched it on VHS.
Old school,
yeah.
And then you realised that you could probably make a movie for £500 and that.
Well, so this is the thing. I think for me, I want to, filmmaking is what I want to do, what I am doing. And there are certain movies that inspire you to want to make movies.
Yeah.
So like the movie that made me want to make movies really, even though I loved watching movies as a kid, was probably Jurassic Park. That was the first time I kind of think, I want to do this, right?
Yeah.
Clerks is a movie that makes you realise that you can.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I'm not saying it's...
Kevin Smith had nothing to play with here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's I watched Jurassic Park when I was 13 in the cinema. I went home, me and two mates, and we got a video camera and we started making a film straight away, literally that afternoon. And roll on 5 years when I was 18, here's someone who, on a bigger scale, has literally got his mates together, got a camera, and made a movie. So it's one of those things. It just realizes that sometimes you can work with what you've got, and you can you can make it happen.
Yeah.
And this is Kevin Smith has written a killer script here. So this isn't just, he's got some mates together. And, although he has definitely got some mates together, but he had this script that he worked on and worked on. Yeah,
I should point out that, obviously Kevin Smith is hugely talented, and and it's the script that really makes this film. I know I'm not a writer in the same way that Kevin Smith is, and I don't think that's one of my strong skill sets. But having said that, it's still, when you watch this film, you kind of, I could do this. I could do this. I wouldn't necessarily do it the same way that he's done it.
You know how it works.
Exactly. Yeah. From kind of a technical point of view, kind of like, okay, you can make this happen. Even more so now with digital cameras.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I mean, I didn't ask when we first started talking about this, but initial kind of thoughts, because obviously for both of you, this is a film that you watched like quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
So what are your sort of top line just thoughts on the film?
I love this movie.
Okay.
I think Clerks is a truly great, enjoyable film.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like it, but I think it's obviously going to have its flaws because it's it's
the
so low
acting
budget.
is dreadful,
And and there are bits in the script that make me kind of go, oh, I'm not sure I like that very much. But overall, I really like it. But I think the thing that really makes me draw to it is that moment of watching it when I was 18, thinking, oh wait, no, actually, I can pursue this if you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, coming into this film late, I guess, my kind of initial reaction is like, I thought it was good, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
But that's just because it's not my type of film.
Yeah.
And I think it didn't ignite a passion in film for me in the same way it did for you guys way back when.
I also think that might be to do with the fact that it's very much about people in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Which we aren't now.
Yes.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
So, like I was in my late teens in the late 90s. So it kind of was very, I was very much something I was, drawn to and could relate to.
I related like hell to the characters as well. They're quite well drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Like, I liked the script a lot. I thought it was, it's a funny film. But I didn't, there were bits of the characters that I really related to because I've worked in retail in the past and I was like, oh my goodness, yes, that's so on point.
Are you more of a Dante than a Randall?
I think everyone's a Dante, but wishes they were a Randall.
Yeah, I think that's really accurate. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't have that kind of same connection, I don't think, with the characters that you probably did when you watched it.
But I think that comes down to the whole age thing.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
So obviously you both are big fans of this. Do you have sort of favorite moments or favorite scenes in this?
It's almost like a portmanteau film where he's clearly written a series of sketches and worked them together.
Yeah.
Clerks it's a day in the life film.
Yeah.
Like one day across quick stop. And it's a series of scenes that are put together. Some of them are stronger than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. My least favourite scene, I'll come out with that, is one of the earlier ones where I suppose actually I should have saved this for later.
Yeah, you can save it for later. Just go with it.
I'll just go with it now.
Go with it.
The gum rep scene where he works all the customers into a frenzy. An anti-smoking mob towards the beginning. So I'm not sure that one worked so well, but it kind of showed off more of the anti-establishment vibe.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's so interesting though,
movie.
hearing you talk about it, the film in that way, because I hadn't thought of it in that way. And actually, in hindsight, I kind of think if I'd have been presented with that in parts as a sketch show with like, I don't know, a half an hour episode every week with other stuff cut with it.
Yeah.
I think I would have enjoyed it way more.
That's really interesting to say that.
Yeah.
I felt the same way about the Taika Waititi film, What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I think bite-sized sketches would have worked for me. Maybe they did actually do an animated series of this.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, which didn't last very long.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they kind of got screwed over by the network.
That's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, they decided to air the third episode first because they thought it was the strongest episode. Okay. But the joke of that episode was it was a clip show of the previous two episodes.
Oh, well, that's
so it just didn't. So no one. So it was
good on network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so you might quite like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's the best scene?
How about you? Tom. Favorite moments?
I don't know.
Great moments.
There are, and.
Anything with Randall in?
Yeah, I think
he's pretty great.
Yeah, I think he kind of gives
Jeff Anderson.
Yeah,
such good delivery. If nothing else, just amazing deadpan delivery.
Yeah.
I mean, he just is that character through and through in that film.
Yeah,
his
absolutely.
Delivery is, his delivery is
Did you see Clerks too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because there's Clerks 2, and then apparently
I think they're trying to do a third one.
Rumblings?
I know they're certainly doing a Jay and Silent Bob movie at the moment. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that's kind of what Clerks 3 is turned into, or if there is a Clerks 3 in addition to that. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. But no, I find it, like, defining a specific scene is quite difficult because, like, the way you say that it's constructed, there's lots of scenes that I like. It's kind of difficult to pinpoint one thing.
Yeah. I think whilst there are funnier scenes, I really like the scene where Dante's talking about potentially getting back, like missing Caitlin and wanting to hook up with her again. And Randall's just in the background, just being a great foil for his lines, but then reading the paper. And he said, yeah, the four of you should hash it out. Yeah. And Dante goes, the four of us.
Oh, yeah, that is brilliant.
Yeah. You, Caitlin, Veronica, Caitlin, and Caitlin's fiance.
Yeah.
And just throws a paper at him. And it's a really great, just off the cuff, dramatic bomb. That's where the drama of the story really takes off. Just a complete off the cuff line.
Yeah.
It's good.
I know. I like the fact that, that even though he's being deadpan about it, Randall's kind of just like, he's just letting Dante play it all out because he knows he's got that ace in the hole that he's just going to go, boom.
Yeah, that is great. I actually really liked the way that the filming kind of played around with the cat.
Yes.
And like the absolute randomness of just the cat. And then there's a bit with the litter tray in front of the customer. I mean, I really liked that. And I liked how there was this action going on. And then I can't remember, I think it was a little bit before that. And then they kind of cut to the cat and it just sort of like looks up and you're like, oh, yes. And I also... Sorry,
it's just a good device for like the cat doesn't care in the long run. All of your problems are petty and small.
I would probably put money on that none of that would have been planned and they would have got those, and then in the edit suite they're just like, we need to cut two scenes together, but because of the way that it's shot, which is quite often long takes, single camera angles, they just had nothing, so you have to cut to something that's kind of random but worked perfectly. Absolutely, 100%.
I just loved that. I thought it was great. And I actually really liked, I think probably because of my history working in retail, I loved the scene when I think it's Randall comes back into the store and they start talking about how stupid customers are.
Yes.
And the stupid questions that you get asked. Yes. And I was just like, oh my goodness, that resonated so much with me.
Yeah. If you work retail and you haven't seen Clerks, there's a lot to a lot to
the one that resonates with me the most. So Adam and I both worked in a video store, and
it's the one where the woman asks about...
Oh, no, not for me.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's woman. It's whoever it is says, oh, have you got that movie like from last year with that guy who was in that other thing? Yeah. And that's all the information they give you.
Yeah, and that's like, I used to get that all the time as well, because I used to work in makeup and I used to have, that thing that celebrity's wearing in that advert about that thing? And I'm like, no. I mean...
I would say that probably... At the end of our illustrious video store career, 7 times out of 10, we would know what movie they were talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, we got good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird because you get into that, you start, you've got a library of God knows how many, 5,000 videos or DVDs or whatever. You start to know these little weird customer traits because you just know what's popular, what people are going to want and what they mean, and it's that weird kind of relationship.
You can look at a customer and know what film they want to watch.
And I mean,
Mystic River, don't you, bitch? that was 90% of.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time when Mystic River was in? We had like 25 copies of that movie.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to watch it. And I was like, why?
Do you guys have kind of favorite characters in this? Are there people that sort of... Because I think for me, we were talking last week about the Green Mile and the acting and the performances are just absolutely top notch. And I mean, coming on to talking about this, like it's
we're
so
in a different world here.
Yeah.
I don't think any actor in this film delivers... I think every actor in this film fluffs at least one line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Jason Mewes lasts a really long time until the final line of the film, and he fluffs it.
Yeah, and he literally like swears, says, "Wait, no, I'll do that again," and then carries on, and they just leave it in because it kind of fits his character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason that Silent Bob then has a line is because Jay could not get it all out, and that was the closest they got.
Yeah.
So he just took that
Great
final line.
It's kind of charming about the film, though. I think like it adds this really nice layer to the film that you're like, actually, do you know what? Like as you say, it's kept in because it is what the character would have said, and it is organic, and it kind of works in that way.
But it also, I think, it kind of makes it slightly more relatable. Mm-hmm. You kind of think, oh yeah, these are just people
and it's not perfect,
who conceivably do this.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Smith did actually work in that convenience store, and that was his job.
In the one that's in the film.
Yeah. So basically,
you did. You told me this.
So so basically, he would work from like, I think it was 6 a.m. till 11 p.m.
Wow.
They would shut the store. They would film from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He'd sleep for an hour and a half, get up, go back to work. And he did that for 21 days straight.
That is dedication.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd be cranky.
Yeah, but I mean, look what he got out of it.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Because
Incredible.
he probably made this movie on how much do you reckon it's probably cost?
Do you know what I've actually found?
Do you know?
Ooh.
I know exactly how much he spent on it, and I have had an exact breakdown.
Oh yeah,
What
tell us.
money was spent.
Please tell
go
us.
for it.
Okay, so basically this was done on borrowed money and credit cards and the works.
Yeah.
The total budget was $27,500.
Wow, that's a lot more than I thought it would. But then making films in the 90s was expensive.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. So it's broken down into a few sections, right? So the first section is stock. So the film negative, they spent $1,600 on the black and white film.
Okay.
Then they spent another $200 on the tapes for the audio machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then another $125 on camera expendables. So I guess that's things like gaffer tape and things that you're just going to burn through, right? And then they rented the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It was $730 for the insurance. The camera cost them $3,400.
Wow. Okay.
And then they had the sound equipment and 3 lights.
Oh, bless him.
That was $1,165. To process the negatives into what's called a working print. So basically that's a positive print that they can run through an editing machine. Mm-hmm. That was $3,295. The transferring the audio tapes into the magnetic tape that goes alongside the film stock, where you kind of sync it up, that costs $980. The editing costs, the Steenbeck, which is the big editing desk that you put all the reels of film on and you scroll between the reels, that cost $940 for a 3-month rental, which I thought was actually quite cheap.
That's really reasonable. For 3 months?
Yeah.
Great.
Editing expendables. So I guess that's like, all the stuff you need to splice the film together, like the cement and the tapes and stuff like that. So that's $220.
Okay.
That's got a really good breakdown.
A negative cut, which basically is once you've got all the stuff together, you make the negative cut.
Yeah.
That's $1,830. And this is the bit that gets me. You have to make what's called a slop print for the audio mix, which is just like a really quick and easy print of the film, right?
Yeah.
So you're not spending good money getting good. Well, I suppose you're not getting colour because it's black and white, but you're not going into getting all of the contrast and all that kind of stuff perfect. That was $900. The sound mix and all the sound related services, $7,280.
Whoa!
Wow, someone ran a train on him there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
That's too much. But you know what? What's mad? What really gets me is thinking that $7,000.
Yeah.
If he made that film today, that would be his only expenditure for this movie, apart from the lights.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing.
Yeah,
so
it would
then
be.
the final things are the titles and animations cost $800. Optical was $990, and then the screening print. So actually making a print that they can take
That's
to
expensive.
a cinema.
Yep.
That was $3,120 alone, bringing the total to $27,575.
All on credit cards.
All on credit cards.
How much money does the film make?
I'll get to that.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I don't want to cut you off.
When you go through all of that budget, can you notice anything that's missing?
Actors?
Yeah, actors' wages.
any wages,
any wages,
Yeah,
any
anyone's.
food,
yeah,
anything like that. So literally, this is just the cost of the physical equipment and
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
all they spent.
That's the
So
bare bones.
everybody did it for nothing.
Wow.
You know, so he pulled in every favour he got. So basically, how this kind of ended up in the world, he managed to get into Sundance. It got picked up by Miramax, and it was given a limited release in the cinema
Okay.
first off, and on its opening weekend of limited release, it took $31,000.
perfect.
Wow.
So it actually made a profit on its opening weekend, technically. It went on to make over 3 million at the box office,
Oh my goodness.
which, you know, in today's money, that is nothing.
Oh, no,
That's nothing, but such a huge
27,000.
return.
Also, on home ends,
God knows what it's made on home ends.
Yeah.
tens of,
Yeah.
at least.
Wow.
Because again, it's one of these sleeper hits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know, like you've just heard, not many people probably would have seen Clerks in the cinema because you know it's the 90s. Who wants to go and see a black and white indie movie in the cinema?
You will.
Well, it's probably more popular than you think. Probably more popular than now.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to run Clerks up against Avengers Endgame.
I mean, you could try.
But you could try. But it's mad to think that if you decided to do that today,
Yeah.
easy. That's one credit card right there.
Well, yeah, because, you know, I mean,
Light rental, probably sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, you get your Premiere Pro subscription on that
Yeah.
just for
Absolutely.
tax purposes and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very different
It
if
is.
they'd have made that now. That's so impressive.
Yeah. It really is. And I mean,
It was
there's-
one of the few success stories. I think it's one of those things where you're like, oh, wow, but if he could do it.
I
Like you
can.
said, you watched
Yeah.
it, you thought, if he could do it, anyone could do it. When I watched it, I
Yeah.
think if he could do it, anyone could do it. Just get your mates together, get a camera.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but, like, to put it in context, there was a couple of movies that kind of came out of this time that
Yeah.
really showed off that people could go out there and do this.
and these
that-
people are now huge names,
Well,
bigger than Kevin Smith.
yeah, but the three that I think of are Clerks with Kevin Smith, El Mariachi with Robert Rodriguez, which
Yeah.
he made for $7,000, and that's a 16mm color action movie.
7,000, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and you know, I mean,
Mexico's cheap.
it's hugely impressive what he did with that. And then slightly bigger budget, and it will be Reservoir Dogs with Quentin Tarantino. I can't remember what the budget for that was, but it was a lot more than these. But they all kind of had their breakout around the same sort of time, 91, 92, 93, 94, that kind of early 90s thing. So there was actually quite a lot of support out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People starting
For
out.
people starting out. And Miramax had a lot to do with that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Miramax. I love watching Miramax films from around this
Yeah.
time. They earned a lot of goodwill from me because, you know, if you're watching a Miramax film in the 90s, you can be like, this is going to be a bit different. This is going to be a bit fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took some risks.
Yeah.
But, you know, those risks paid off in
Well, yeah.
huge amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's
Are we
talk a
talking
little
about
bit
favourite
more
characters?
about characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I kind of,
Who's yours?
I struggle a little bit. I wrote down when the two of them are together. So when Dante and Randall are like on screen together.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could pick a favourite
It's
character.
like the id and the ego, isn't it? Working
yeah,
with
absolutely.
each other.
Like, I really liked Randall as soon as he came on screen. I was like, oh, okay, this is
I know who you are.
a pace changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know. So I would kind of struggle, but I guess if I had to pick, it would probably be Randall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dante's a bit of a wank, isn't he?
He's a bit. Dante's a
is
little bit
whiny.
Yes, and
I'm
he's
not
just like,
even
I'm having
supposed to
such a
be
bad
here
day.
today.
Yeah, and it's like, well, just like Randall says, you didn't have to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't moan about it if
Yeah.
you're going to
It's
end up
that-
coming into the store.
I think it's when, you know, when you're that age, you're probably in your first or second job, and
Yeah.
you probably have more of a sense of duty than you should have.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that, like, most people are a Dante when they're working in retail, but wish they could be
Yes.
Randall.
'Cause
And
the way
Randall's
he is with
free. Randall
customers.
knows
Yeah.
exactly who he is,
Yeah.
what he can do, what he can get. He knows his power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't even care.
yeah,
No.
I mean,
I had no idea how he still has a job.
yeah,
well, yeah. I mean, he just wouldn't, would he? But yeah, I think that would probably be it. How about you guys? What's your favourite kind of character?
I think Randall. He
Yeah?
was
Randall or Jay, right? Those are the two fun characters.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this movie it's Randall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In later movies, like some of the others, I always kind of like Silent Bob, because I always thought that Kevin Smith,
He's the heart of the piece.
he would just be there being silent, and his expression would say so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you always knew when he said his line, it's like, okay, this is the poignant moment. This is what's really going to cut to the entire heart of the entire story.
Yeah.
There's a million fine-looking women in the world, dude. Not all of them bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you.
Exactly.
I know off by heart.
Yeah. And it's you know, so
It's a great line.
it is a great line, and I think it's in this movie. I think it kind of has to be Randall, but just because he kind of owns, like Jeff Anderson owns that character so well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
he
just
does.
you know, there's stuff he does in the film where you're like, oh, that's you know, that's not a nice thing to do. That's
Yeah.
a horrible thing to do in that situation, but
Yeah.
also, like, he really cares for Dante, and Dante's kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he
There's
does.
a serious man crush situation going on there.
yeah, I mean, he's really looking out for his friend, and
Yeah, he is.
that's typified when Caitlin kind of comes into the convenience store near the end, and she literally says to her, "Don't
Yeah.
break his
If
heart."
you break his heart,
Yeah.
I'll kill you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, and he does, and he kind of does it in a sort of jokey, casual way, but he absolutely
he means it, yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
Don't break his heart.
yeah, I'm looking out for him because I know what you're like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it has to kind of be Randall, really.
Yeah.
Adam, same for you.
Yeah, Randall.
Yeah.
I like, he respects Dante's autonomy because while he figures that he's probably making a mistake going for Caitlin, he doesn't try and dissuade him, which I always thought was slightly strange. Also, when he spits in the customer's face,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you think
that's awful.
maybe the character's been pushed a little bit too far
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
just being like rude and insubordinate to actually
I think
being
that's too
like,
far.
well, now you're just a criminal.
yeah,
Well, also, you just flat out get fired.
yeah.
I mean, there's no way
Well, he
he'd
doesn't
still have
work
his
at the
job.
quick stop, so he's all right.
Well, no, but I mean,
And he doesn't care.
no,
but-
he doesn't care.
I think you're right. I think that just
It's
takes
just
it slightly too
yeah,
far.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But
It's
then-
a little bit too far.
This movie veers from it fuses together all of the stuff you identify with in the most mundane situation. Yet
Yeah.
some of the incidents that happen within the film are so like off the wall,
Wild.
crazy,
Yeah,
and yet it feels completely acceptable.
yeah,
You're like,
Do you know
well,
what I
that's
mean?
a pretty mad day. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like they
Mike's girlfriend broke up with her fiance and committed necrophilia, and then
Yeah.
basically, got committed for insanity.
and they knock over a corpse at a funeral.
Yeah.
and, like all of that stuff that happens that you don't see most of it, but like it is. Yeah, it's kind of like they ground it so much in the normality
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're completely unfazed by it as well. They're
Yeah.
just standing around the next scene
Yeah.
like, oh,
that your suspension of disbelief allows you to kind of go that far with it.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It does. Yeah, it's really it's really interesting. I did enjoy watching this a lot, but I wouldn't watch it again. I don't think.
Yeah. What?
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I
I
mean,
could watch this film
Yeah,
like once a month.
Yeah.
I just think it's a funny movie, man.
Yeah, I think it's funny too.
well, what's odd about it? What doesn't work for you guys? What's kind
The
of
xylophone doesn't work for me. Every now and then they'd end I'm using air quotes here, guys, for people at home. Sketch. They might end it on a like xylophone thing, and I was like, oh, that's not needed. And then sometimes
Totally passed me
they'll
by.
use the cat.
Yeah.
So you don't like the cat?
I like the cat because the cat it's a fairly blunt metaphor for what's going on here has absolutely no meaning
Yes.
Yeah.
beyond those two characters.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I get the cat. The xylophone I don't get.
No.
The gum thing was just a bit
Much.
Yeah.
it's a bit weird, yeah.
hmm
Everything else, I just like it. I like this movie. I'm a big fan.
Tom, what doesn't work for you, or what's a bit peculiar?
I mean, if you're looking at it completely critically as a movie, then obviously there are these the people in it are straight out of acting school at best.
Yeah.
Or non-actors
so many
at
of the
worst.
actors are reused in different roles in the film.
Walt Flanagan
One
does
guy,
like,
he's got like 4 characters.
He's got 4 characters, and and it's kind of like, okay, I completely understand why that is.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, it was shot on 16mm film. It was shot on cheap 16mm film stock, and it shows because it's super, super grainy, but that's because it's been blown up to 35mm and then compressed back down to DVD. And so, obviously there's a lot of technical things going on there. But I think that in this instance, that becomes part of its charm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think watching it for the first time, obviously, I think you'd said it was black and white and, it was an indie film and blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't expecting it to look quite so grainy and,
It's,
it has flaws. And like you say, like, there's bits where you think, well, you clearly, like you say, fluffed your line and, but it's left in. And I do think it helps to build to the charm of the film. But if you're watching it for the first time, I think, like as an adult in this environment with kind of the films that you're used to, it's a little lacking in that respect.
I mean, straight off the glossy looking Green Mile.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm like I'm a big fan of black and white films. Like I watched those films when I was a kid, and it's not the black and white element of it. No. It's just, I think it's not as polished.
Yeah, it doesn't have the polish.
No.
I find that quite charming.
But it is charming.
It makes me work harder with the film.
Yeah, it doesn't make me dislike the film in any way.
When I watched Green Mile, I was just sat back like, this is happening in front of me.
Right.
When I watched Clerks, I was sat forward. It engaged me.
The other thing I do find, I'm not that massive fan of the kind of over-intellectualized one-word title cards that segment the thing.
Same. Yeah. I could totally have done without them.
And I'm like, it's a vulgar movie. It's a puerile movie, but it's an intelligent movie at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't need those title cards to reinforce that. I don't.
It kind of takes away of the flow that you're watching a feature film.
Yeah, but I think the purpose of them is to kind of put dividers between the scenes where, because otherwise you
don't have a lot of shots in this movie.
No, I mean, and quite often you'd be cutting from Randall and Dante standing behind a counter to maybe
Randall and Dante standing behind a counter,
or Dante or Randall, and one of them, and it'd be like showing that passage of time would be harder and stuff like that. So I kind of get why they're there, and I think it does kind of reinforce the intelligence behind the script to a degree. It does make it a bit different, but I just find it like a bit much.
Yeah,
but
yeah, same.
It was. I'll say, because we watched this together.
We did, yeah.
And I was slightly nervous about how you would react to it.
Oh, really?
Because I just wasn't sure. Like I kind of have a rough idea of. Like, now we've been in the podcast, so I kind of got a rough idea. I think, you might quite like this, you might not. And this one, I just had no clue.
Oh, what? Did you think I would hate it?
I didn't know. I just had no clue. I was just like, would you really find like the vulgar humour funny, or would that put you off?
It's pretty pure.
Would it would you think it was trying to be like too smart for its own good or whatever? And as it started, I was, wherever you watching it, I was just like, what's going on here? And then I think it was actually in the scene with the gun representative that you started to laugh and you started to kind of like, funny. And I was just like, okay, all right, we might be all right here. And but I was kind of really intrigued as to what you think about it.
I mean, it is really interesting, and it's just not my type of film. There's kind of nothing about it that makes it my type of film.
No.
I didn't really care that much about the characters.
I was surprised actually at how unlikable I found Dante this time around.
Yeah, he is kind of unlikable.
Yeah, he's a knob, isn't he?
So's his girlfriend, to be fair. She's not.
No.
Oh, she's fine, but like she's not. You don't love her.
Wait, which one?
Veronica.
Well, you don't tell your boyfriend that you give snowballs.
She's just like, I don't know. There just wasn't the like. I don't know. I wanted him to choose her over Caitlin 100%. And like with the lasagna thing, that line is just so charming. And you think, well, why on earth are you going back to someone who cheated on you and who doesn't like you?
God, if my girlfriend brought me lasagna at work, can you imagine, Tom, if your wife just came in like, here's a tray of lasagna?
Yeah.
That's
winning.
the dream, right?
That is.
Yeah.
That's a good life.
But I wonder if again age plays a part in this, and
I think the 90s-ness of it plays a part as well.
That's 100. I think that's 100% what it is for me. I feel a lot of love and I have fond memories for this whole pirate radio, MTV, flannel shirts, Beavis and Butthead, that whole era.
Yeah.
Nirvana and
I was
Smashing Pumpkins, grunge. Such a great time.
But I was like 7 when this came out.
Yeah.
This is 94. So I think I'm a little bit too young to be engaged in the super 90s-ness of it.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. And also like, you're coming at this in a different way to the way that Adam and I saw it, in that, obviously I was essentially learning how to make films. So it had that kind of thing.
We saw this on VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
So, I think it's interesting. That's why I was so, I just had no clue how you would react to it.
I absolutely didn't hate it.
No.
And if there's people I know that would really, really like that film, and I would totally say, oh my God, it's great, you should watch it, because I know you'll love it.
Yeah.
But
what's your favourite line?
I didn't love it enough to pick a favourite line. I'm really sorry.
There's just some good wordplay.
There were moments in it where I was like, that's a really great line. Like, it's a really well written line. It didn't stay with me enough for
I wrote them down
to even remember. I probably should have, given that we were talking about it today. But I just didn't. I think because it's really hard to take notes when you're watching a comedy, because if you start writing things, if you don't know it, you're going to miss the next, and you either have to keep pausing it the entire time you're watching it.
No, I'm just cackling along and writing them down.
But you're familiar with the script.
Yeah.
And for me, it was completely new territory. And like I said, I didn't hate it, but it's good.
I think it does it makes you laugh at things you kind of feel you shouldn't be laughing at.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you permission to laugh where you kind of ordinarily...
It treads some very, very fine moral lines about what and how it does that whole... There's this whole thing about being the subject and object of a joke, in that you can make a joke about any subject as long as the object is the correct one. Yeah. Right? So it's...
Yes.
You can tell a joke about incredibly taboo subjects, but if the object of the joke is the wrong thing, then it becomes either racist, sexist, or it crosses the line.
Yeah.
But there are very few people that can do those jokes to the degree where they can get away with it well.
Yeah, and that's the skill of this.
Randall just does it.
Yeah.
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 And I do
or
think
even the necrophilia bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that Caitlin does it, you're like, oh yeah, fair enough. I'm not even going to blink at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a funny one. It was maybe I should watch it again to kind of solidify kind of how I feel about it.
You might like more rats.
Yeah. Well, I like Dogma.
Maybe you should watch Clerks 2 if you had no time with Clerks. Clerks 2 it's a similar idea.
Okay.
We move on several years, but now we've got a bit more of a budget. We're in colour. We're in HD.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No one fluffs their lines now.
Yay!
It's full on.
Rosario Dawson in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's full on polish.
Yeah.
But it's still Dante and Randall, but this time they work at a burger joint.
Wow. Together.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's kind of my summary of it.
Cool.
There's a good dance scene in it.
Yeah.
Is there's a
dance scene in Clerks 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go and watch Clerks too.
Yeah.
It's not Fred Astaire, but
Well, maybe it's closer to Gene Kelly.
Tom, what's your favourite line?
I honestly, I couldn't pick one. I think it's one of those scripts that bizarrely you're sitting there thinking nothing's happening, but the dialogue is moving at such a pace.
It's popping.
And it's just like the jokes per minute are fairly high.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is always a line that makes me laugh, or whether it's a juxtaposition of a facial expression or a prop, or there's stuff like that.
You're going to have to bleep this, but one of my favourite lines is when they're outside and there's a Russian metal singer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's singing along to Jay and Silent Bob and some girl. And the entire scene, it's a run-on scene, and it just ends with the girl saying, "Did he just say making f***?" That's it.
Yeah.
The scene ends, black screen. I was like, that's brilliant.
See, I laughed at that.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a joke.
No, it's just an observation of
like so much of it isn't jokes.
Yeah.
It's like anecdotes, or like you say, it's kind of one-liners juxtaposed
Clever
with
wordplay.
someone's
When Dante,
facial expression.
Yeah, when Dante and Veronica are lying down, they're discussing sex in the earlier in the film, and they're having a bit of a row about it. And Dante says, "I'm just making a broad generalization." She turns around and says, "You're making a generalization about broads."
Yeah.
Great
clever.
line.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. Like, he comes across really badly in that scene.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he
like,
really
his
really
attitude towards that.
really does.
But it beautifully sets up the hypocrisy when she reveals her
of
sexual
course.
history.
Yeah.
And and I think it in that
In a
moment
row?
you're just thinking like, oh God, that's such a not the right attitude to have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he gets it thrown back at him almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think maybe fundamentally that's why I didn't love this, because I don't love any of the characters. So what still holds up about this? What's great
The humor,
about this?
100%.
Yeah.
The humor is as relevant then as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not politically correct,
No.
but it's not shocking. It's not like racist.
No.
It's not even sexist, I don't think. I'm trying to think about it. This isn't a film that passes the Bechdel test, but
No. It does tread the line with the sexism,
It does.
but I think it often.
but because it comes from flawed characters
Yeah. And
that are extremely flawed, I don't
Absolutely.
think it really lands in an offensive way.
well, I think the
It's not like Captain America's walking on stage saying that women shouldn't be allowed to have jobs. It's people who are dicks being dicks.
I kind of feel like it's correct for the character, and quite often you're not laughing. That's not what's making you laugh.
exactly.
It's something around
I think
it.
the way it's handled is it kind of sidesteps it being an issue, and I think it's very aware of what is being said. Like the film itself is aware of it, so the way it's dealt with and the way it's handled, like you say, it's either coming from a character who you dislike or who you don't have any respect for, who you know is just a complete idiot.
Yeah.
So I think that it's aware of those issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I think what still holds up is that it's so stylized. Like we've talked about this before with films, films that are period dramas and things like that, generally speaking, seem to be standing the test of time better because they're of their time. And this is so of the 90s.
Yeah.
It's okay that it looks the way it does because it's of the 90s.
I think it kind of what makes it, like you say, because you're pretty much only ever inside the quick stop, just outside it, or in RST video. Yeah. There's a couple of times that you're in other places, like on the roof or in the big video store, but there's so few locations that it's such a contained, tiny world that, and there's no CGI or any kind of any issues with like compositing and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's how what helps sell it kind of, because you're so contained.
Yeah, absolutely.
I almost got a sense that I was watching the CCTV footage from inside the store at times.
Yeah,
it does have a bit of that about it, doesn't
A
it?
bit of Paranormal Activity style filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lead on this. I think it's still a good film. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just didn't love it, but you guys totally agree that it's still a good film.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a zeitgeisty lightning in the bottle film.
Yeah. I think I'd go so far as to think anyone who wants to get into making films, it's a must watch.
Yeah, and I think for that it really is, because also there's stuff that kind of I was watching since being in this world. And I was just like, oh yeah, okay, I'm noticing that so much more than I would have, and that I ever would in a air quote normal film. So I think for that it's super commendable.
Yeah, I think it highlights the importance of script so much.
Absolutely.
That it's if you're trying to get into this, then you've got to watch it.
Yeah, definitely. So any budding filmmakers out there, definitely go and watch Clerks.
Yeah.
It's informative.
If you're not easily offended.
Yeah.
But then if you're easily offended, don't go into making films because,
well, sure.
Stories
to tell.
Yeah.
So I think is that us?
That's us, yeah.
That's us?
I think it's a wrap on Clerks.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Don't listen to Sophie. It's brilliant.
I mean, it's a great film. It's just not my film.
Yeah.
It's not my great film.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So next week we are going to be talking about The Warriors. So
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I've seen The Warriors since.
Really?
Oh God. I think I probably watched The Warriors when we worked together at Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the video game came out? Everyone went weirdly mad for The Warriors again for just no reason, just because probably it was a great setup for a video game.
I wonder if it was me that made you watch it, in fact.
Maybe.
I think it probably was.
I don't remember much about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No. It'll be an interesting episode.
I think it will.
Yeah. So I rewatched the trailer to prepare for next week.
Oh.
I haven't rewatched the film yet, and
okay.
That's a bad trailer. That's a bad trailer.
Oh, I'm excited already.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a good one next week then.
So tune in, and thank you very much for listening this week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was recorded in the Upbeat Studio in Soho. For studio inquiries, drop us an email on studio@upbeatproductions.com. You can also find us on Twitter. Head to @upbeatprod to see what we're up to, and @upbeat_ents for our film coverage and entertainment news.